In this session, we will see how to create a new GitHub repository. First, you have to log into your GitHub account and you will launch to this dashboard. And first of all, you have to just click on the top right corner. And from the top right corner, there are some options and you have to click your profile. And on the profile, you just see that you don't have any public repositories yet. It says that you don't have any kind of repositories yet. First thing that you have to do in order to create a repository, that you have to come here on this panel. This is the overview repositories. You have to click on the repositories. Then it says that it doesn't have any public repositories yet. So we have to click on this new button, this new green button. And now it says create a new repository. First thing that it says who will be the owner. So we are the owner of this repository. And what would be the repository name? I'm just giving this demo name, or you can say a demo repo. Yes, a demo repo. This repository name is available, right? Now it says that you have to write some description, but it's optional. But I will write a description here. This is first repository. This is our first repository. You write the description, and under the description, you can see there are two options if you want to make it public and private. What's the difference between a public repository and a private repository? The public repository, as there is a description under it that anyone on the internet can see this repository. It says that anyone on the GitHub can see this repository, or if he has a link of this repository, then he can clearly see all the project files, all the code files, all the files in that repository will be available to the audience. But if you set this repository to private, then you choose who can see and commit to this repository. It will be private to you. We can understand this by the example of Instagram. On our Instagram account, there is a one that you can see that a celebrity, normally the celebrity has a public account. So you can see their photos and Instagram stories. You can like on their photo. You can comment on their photo. You can interact with the photos of those celebrities because they have set their profile to public, right? But there are some people, maybe some of your friends have set their Instagram profile to private. So only their followers will be able to interact with their posts and Instagram stories. They will only allow their followers to interact with their post. None of the other people can just interact with their post. Only those who they choose to be as a part of their followers, they can interact with their posts. The same as the GitHub repositories. If you set it to public, then anyone can see this. If you set it to private, then only you can choose who can commit to this repository. I'm just setting this repository to private for now. Again, if I scroll down, and then this is another option, initialize this repository with add a readme file. Readme file is a special type of file in which there is a description about your project. In a software development, there is a project. Are you working on your website? Whether you're working on the Android development or any kind of software, there is a readme file. Right. In that readme file, there is a long description about that project, that which type of technology you have used, how this project will gonna work, maybe some information related to that software, maybe how to install that software into the system. Any kind of detail, any kind of description is written in this readme file. And whenever you just bought a CD, in the past years, we have bought a CD, or maybe you download any kind of game or a software from the internet, on that folder, there is a readme.txt file. This is normally a txt file in our computer system. In that readme file, there is a whole description written that how to install this software, how to install this game, how to play this game, what are the main functions, and all of this necessary description is written on that readme file. This readme file is a good practice to initialize with a readme file. Keep the other things as it is, and then finally we have to click on the create repository. And here we go. Our repository has been created. And through of this dashboard, you can see that on the top here, you can see this is your profile name, and it says that this person owns this repository and committed to this repository in the past days. And this is the repository name. And with the repository name, you can see this is a lock icon. So this lock icon indicates that this repository is a private repository, that it indicates that only you can interact with this repository, right? You can see all of the files here. This is the only one file that you can see, readme.md. Readme.md means that MD means markdown. So in the GitHub, there's a markdown file. In this file, as I told you before, you can add all of the description about your project. This is the readme file. And about the readme file, you can see this is the initial commit written here. What does this mean? As I told you before, that in a GitHub, keep tracks of changes that you made in your repository. The initial commit is the change that we have made in this repository, and GitHub has tracked it. GitHub has named it as a initial commit, that you have made an initial commit to create this readme file, and we have created this 1 minute ago, right? This is the readme file, and so this is the way you can create a new repository on GitHub.